What up? What up? Hope everyone is doing well. Good start to the morning. Got some exciting price action going. It's nice to be able to cover that. Make sure if you're getting here early, you drop a like on the stream. Really appreciate everyone for helping out on that front. Gonna finish setting up the stream here. Should be done with that in a couple of moments. Appreciate patience on that. Alan, Dave Nelson, good to see you. $19.70, good to see you, brother. Black Squirrel, Messy. Oh yeah, everyone's popping in. Everyone's popping in. Good to see everyone. We're going to jump into charts in a minute and take a look exactly where we're sitting at. Joe, Michael, William. Guys, make sure if you're getting here early, you smash that like button. Really appreciate everyone for helping out on that front. Were Shopify earnings good? I didn't get a chance to take a look at Shopify earnings yet. I saw someone just tweeted that out. Shopify's a good company. I've always kind of thought about potentially adding some Shopify, but I don't know. It never reaches the level of something that I'm really interested in. So he's like, I could add that, and then I never really get around to it. So kind of always been my thing with Shopify. Pull up Fiat Leak here for a second. See if we can get any big pump on the charts. Lucky, good to see you. Oh, Kevin, no problem. Make sure it's real, Kevin. Make sure it's real. Make sure it's actually me. Guys, make sure whenever you see me interacting with you on any social media, you're ultra diligent to make sure it's actually me. 1970 midnight. Well, I hope you get some good rest, 1970, and I hope you wake up to XRP at a much higher price, man. We'll be watching the price chart for you. We'll be watching that price chart. Yeah, so let's take a look at real quick at the what's going on the XRP price chart, because I believe we're probably pretty close to a potential breakout here. Let me share the screen. All right, so here we go on the XRP price chart, and it looks like I have to condense that a little bit to make it fit a little better. There we go. And then switch back over here. All right, so here we go on the XRP price chart. As you can see, XRP has really been respecting this range for a long period of time, but it looks like we could finally be on the verge of a potential breakout. So if we zoom in here, we can see that XRP is trying to really pop up on out of here. We really need to see XRP get above this 61 cent range and close above that, and hopefully continue to push up. If we can push up to the 70 cent range, I think for the first time we would have a confirmed breakout on this chart, which would be absolutely phenomenal. It's one of the biggest things we've been waiting for XRP to finally break out of this range, and it looks like that is currently taking place, or at least in the process of taking place. So that is really good to see. Mark says the drop army loves me. I appreciate that. We'll take a look at the drop chart in a second here. Appreciate the love from the drop army. I'm trying to get this formatted right. Thank you. The drop chart, the drop army in the chat is crazy right now. Shout out to you guys. Want to pull up my X live chat as well right now. Keep an eye on that. Cool. Take a look at XRP to BTC. Let's see if we've got a reversal on that yet. That's one of the things we've been waiting for, XRP to BTC to find. Oh yeah, there we go. Wow. Take a look at this reversal, guys. This is a very strong reversal right at the point that a lot of us were expecting to see it. That is a very, very good indicator. This is one of the things we've been waiting for. If we zoom out, we can see we've been waiting a long time for XRP to rebound back off of this bottom zone on the XRP to Bitcoin price chart. And it looks like we're getting that strong confirmation right now. So we really just need to see XRP continue to rally through the day, especially against Bitcoin. And things are going to look really, really solid. Really solid. These are a bunch of good indicators all coming in at once. Let's go back to Fiat League for a second and take a look at there. Take a look there. And I want to take a look at or we'll take a quick look at First Ledger. I know some people were talking about drop. One minute. Let me just pull this up. Get a good look at what's happening on the chart. Crazy. We're finally with the meme coin. You can start looking at the day charts. For the longest time, you couldn't because it was so early into the ecosystem. Finally, the day chart is like long enough to actually get a good view of price action. So we pull that up. Maybe the 4-hour charts are going to be our best look at this here. Okay, very cool. So here's the drop chart. We can see after a massive extended sell-off, it looks like we got a big kick of momentum here. So that's definitely good to see. One of the things we were specifically calling out is just the ability to create this rounded bottom structure. And now it looks like we finally capitulated on the selling. And it looks like sellers have been exhausted and will hopefully be able to retain this zone right here. Looks like $7.75 seems to be, whoops. Let me fix my view here real quick. Looks like $7.75 seems to be the zone where we need to hold. And if we can hold there, I think things will look pretty good. XRP pumped to 69.5 overnight and then pulled back. Yeah, definitely got a bunch of momentum last night. Then there was a pretty big sell-off at some point last night in all markets. All markets seemed to go through a pretty big sell-off last night. But they look to be rebounding this morning. So I wouldn't be surprised if over the course of today, we had some pretty good price action for XRP and the rest of the cryptocurrency market. Check out the X chat real quick. Good to see everyone. Good to see everyone. Is it just Trump coming into office that's causing the price to rise? I think it's a mix of a couple things. That is definitely one of the most significant factors because Trump coming into office drastically increases the chance that we'll get rid of Gary Gensler. So I think it's really a couple of things, but Trump coming into office definitely is playing an important role in getting rid of Gary Gensler. Deck Screener incoming for a drop. Yeah, we'll see when we finally do get Deck Screener. We've been waiting for a while for Deck Screener to hit. The whole market is pumping these. No, the whole market's definitely pumping, but it's great to see it funneling into things like XRP. And obviously here, we're mostly focused on XRP. Pump is over, go back to bed. I don't think so. I don't think so. Let's take a look at a shorter time frame for XRP. Try to evaluate where we sit on this shorter time frame. So we'll take a look at the hour chart real quick, see where we sit there. Guys, almost 1,000 viewers in the stream. Really appreciate you guys all for being here. Make sure to smash the like button. Really helps more people learn about XRP, and the more people we get in here, the better it is for all of us. So really appreciate everyone doing their part, liking the stream, and making sure we get this thing mainstream. Yeah, so this is what we're looking at on the shorter time frame. As we can see here, XRP put in this big pump all the way almost to 70 cents and then had a dramatic pullback. Now it's evening out in the middle a bit, so we just need to see some momentum come back into it. It's hard to get a good view of anything overly substantial at the moment just because the time frames are so small, but you kind of do see, right, possible pennant forming here. But I do have to say, on these short time frames, it's really hard to call anything. You could look at this as maybe something bullish that could break out, but it's hard to say on these short time frames for sure. I think it's going to depend a lot more on how the stock market opens today and whether that's going to bring us some good momentum. If that opens strong, then I think there's a very good chance we'll see some significant, another significant pump from XRP. Hydromange, good to see you. Look at the Tether market cap for printing. Tether market cap. Yep, absolutely. Walled Gardner, good to see you. What do I think about Digibyte? I'm not a huge Digibyte fan. I don't know. I don't have anything against Digibyte or anything like that. For me, it's more of like, I'm yet to see a reason why I should be focused on Digibyte. High volume, $1 by end of week. Would love to see $1 end of week. Have I heard of Flame, the opposite of drop? Yeah, I'm not a huge. There's a lot of meme coins out there, right? Like, I don't know. There's gonna be drop, earth, like all of them. Just gotta. I don't know. It's not something I'm overly focused on. Meme coin market is definitely something that I've played around in, but it's not something that I spend large amounts of time in. But I do like seeing projects do well. Don't get me wrong. I love to see projects do well. High volume. Yeah, volume is the most important thing we need to be watching. Volume is really what's going to kick up these prices and really start sending them sky high. So volume's huge. Go back to Fiat Leak real quick. The 6431. Great to see that. Probably do something. Here we go. Nice. Take a look at the news real quick. See if anything interesting is happening on X. Unless we can get some rotations. What do you mean? Layer 2s like base. Yeah, layer 2s like base could definitely be interesting. It's just not necessarily where I focus. Base is a very interesting chain, but so far for me, it's just not really at the same level as something like an XRP in terms of where it could be used institutionally. The institutional adoption is really what I'm focusing on, and I just don't see Base really getting a lot of that. Firedog, I appreciate the comment. He said, big money's playing with XRP price. It's clear the question is why. If I was a betting man, I would say money is manipulating leverage stops and then decided they want to XRP to skyrocket. Yeah, I would tend to agree. I would tend to agree. There's something extremely fishy about the way XRP moves in comparison to the rest of the market, but it seems like to me in one way or another, they're starting to lose a bit of that control. It seems like they're starting to lose a bit of that control, and what we're likely going to see is XRP finally have the ability to be let go. This is a great post from Eleanor Terrett that I think is very bullish news. One of the things, one of the things we've been facing in particular is different hostile regulators. And what we can see right here is it looks like Trump is actually looking to put a pro-Bitcoin person as head of the Treasury. So we can potentially see a pro-cryptocurrency person at the SEC, CFTC, and Treasury. These were some of the biggest participants in Operation Choke Point 2.0. So to see essentially us reversing out of a lot of those hostile regulatory positions, that is one of the most important things that could happen for this industry moving forward. And it's great to see, once again, us getting more and more pro-cryptocurrency people in the government. Go back to Fiat Leak. Watch that price pump. BTC moved from 82 to 89 on the $2 billion Tether printing. Well, we have to understand that the reason why Bitcoin moves when Tether prints is because people are injecting money into Bitcoin. Like, I think a lot of people think Tether is just printing money out of thin air. I don't think that's the case. I don't think Tether is just printing money out of thin air. I think there's real money backing Tether. I've seen too much evidence at this point to think that Tether is just some kind of Ponzi. Too much evidence at this point. Maybe I'll end up being wrong, but to me it seems like Tether does have big issues in terms of things like money laundering and stuff like that. But in terms of Tether being problematic, in terms of the money not actually being there or something like that, I don't necessarily think that's an issue. I really don't. I think Tether has the money. I think they're printing it when money comes in from fiat. Anyone play around with the AMM? Yeah, I definitely play around with the AMM, only in a small scale. And I'll show, and I've actually played around with it on XP Market specifically. I do have money in an AMM in terms of an XPM XRP pool, but when you look at when I look at my rewards for actually doing that, it's not like I really have a lot of gains from participating in the automated market maker. My P&L was kind of I've been in there for a bit. It's been sitting at kind of like $6 or something like that, $8. So, it's just not, it hasn't been anything like overly profitable. Now I have been able, so I'm actually, from being in this automated market maker pool, I've lost $2.51 from sitting in here. Now I was able to farm some airdrops in the process, but to me, overall, not that exciting so far with just sitting in that automated market maker. Guys, I will show this real quick. It almost looks like when we started the show, I kind of half drew this pennant structure, and it actually looks like it's playing out kind of interesting here. Take a look at this. This could actually have some potential. Let's see if we can watch this develop here, because if we could hit the top of this range, that could be very interesting. Kind of just jotted this down, but it seems to be respecting it pretty strong. So there might actually be something here. Tether takes money from you and then buys US treasuries. That's all they do. They then collect interest on the T-bills and don't give you that, but it's pretty safe. Yeah, I agree. Like, there's been a lot of talk about Tether not having any money, but there's just too many big firms who have come out now and said they've seen Tether's money. So, you know, I understand why people are sussed out about Tether. I think Tether probably does a lot of sketchy stuff, but I think they actually have the money they say they do. Mickle and the Mickle cult. Any idea why RLUSD? Any idea when RLUSD will be released? Any updates? Unfortunately, there really isn't any updates around that because it's just come down to when the New York regulators approve it. The New York regulators have ultimate say in when this thing gets approved, and we're just waiting until they finally do approve it. So unfortunately, there's really no updates on that. We're just waiting for the ultimate approval of it. And until it does get approved, unfortunately, there's really not much more to talk about there. Hopefully, we're pretty close to that. We've been waiting for a while to get that approval, but unfortunately, at the current moment, there's just not really much to talk about other than the fact that we need New York regulators to finally approve it. Guys, make sure if you're watching right now, you smashed a like on the stream. Really appreciate everyone doing that. It gets a lot of new people in here. Super, super helpful. And as you can see, we actually have XRP making a pretty decent move up here, pushing on 65 cents at the moment. So let's hope we can keep that momentum. Guys, do your part. Smash the like button. Let's make sure that this live stream is on everyone's X feeds, everyone's YouTube feeds this morning, so everyone starts to feel some of that FOMO into XRP. You guys can easily do your part simply by smashing the like button and retweeting. It helps a lot. And we're just going to chill here and watch the XRP price chart. It's nice to finally be able to focus on price and not necessarily fundamental news. So we're going to keep our eyes on this for the next couple moments and see if we can potentially get a breakout on stream. XRP back over 65. Yep, that's what we're watching right now. And I'm just watching the news in the background. So if anything on the news pops up, I'll make sure to share it. Oh yeah, Shopify did have a strong quarter. Good to see that from Shopify. Shopify is not something I'm personally invested in, but I've been close a couple times. I've been close. Mickle, don't be the next Alex Cobb. So far, I've had pretty good luck. Taylor, good to see you. So far, I've had pretty good luck. I haven't had any big dumps when I've started streaming so far. So far, my streaming career has been pretty good. Oh, this is interesting, guys. This is interesting. This is what I've like. This is what I like to see. It looks like on Darebit right now. Sorry. It looks like on Darebit right now, a lot of people are trying to play the 90-cent call options. So that would indicate that there's a lot of people thinking that we could see a 90-cent XRP in the very near future. It seems like that's where the call options are being priced. So a lot of people are starting to bet on a pretty substantial move for XRP. And it's nice to see that taking place in the options market, because when it takes place in the options market, that to me shows that there's some big whales looking to push this price around in the background and are really putting their money where their mouth is and expecting that big move. So very cool to see that Darebit options are getting priced in right now at around that 90 cents mark. Thank you for becoming a subscriber. Condizzo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's jump back to the XRP price chart. We're really trying to break out. It looks like we could be making a move right here. Yeah, we're the opposite of Alex Cobb here. So far, I've had a pretty good track record of XRP actually pumping on my streams. So far, I've not really had any. I think there's one stream I went on when there was a massive dump on it. A massive dump on XRP. Like one bad stream. The 90-cent call options on Deribit were great. I woke up on the dot at 4 a.m. when we tapped 70 cents. Have an internal clock for XRP, Taylor. That's hilarious. Yeah, and then there was a big sell-off, and it was a big sell-off in all markets. There's a big sell-off in all markets that ended up pushing XRP down. If Cobb thinks of streaming, we start going down. Poor Cobb, man. The poor guy only wants to live stream. Every single time he live stream, the price gets pushed down. We've had pretty good luck so far. We haven't caught a massive pump, but we have caught some pretty nice size moves, and we really haven't caused any dumps either. So Cobb is the dump master. Cobb sends the price charts down. We at least don't do that. $172 likes. Yeah, guys, make sure to smash the like button. We can easily get over 2,000 likes this morning. We want to make sure everyone sees this live stream, right? We want to make sure as many people as possible sees this live stream. We can educate them on XRP. The disappointing thing is like there hasn't been a lot of pushback recently. Someone said, how do you trade options with XRP? You got to be very careful trading options with XRP, man. XRP is already a very volatile asset. You really don't want to be putting any substantial amount of money trading large XRP options. Now, if you're doing a strategy, right, like covered calls, covered puts, there's a significant and very profitable way in order to generate income on those options. But I don't know if I would recommend anyone going out and trying that on their own. Most people in the options market are simply just buying a call option, predicting XRP is going to be much higher in a week from now than it is today. And that's essentially the basics of what we're seeing in terms of people funneling into those options. They're essentially naked calls, meaning people are just essentially doing an outright bet that is going to get to that price. So it's a lot less of a strategy and a lot more of a, hey, YOLO, I think XRP is going to get here in the next week. So it's just something to keep in mind. All right, we just printed another candle within this triangle. This could be this next one could be the one to break out of here. This is a nice little base we're forming, though. This is a very nice little base we're forming. Roger said, before I got back into crypto in early 2018, I couldn't sleep watching XRP Moon. Now that I own it, I'll never sleep on moons. Oh, that's so funny, Roger. Well, I think what's likely going to happen is we're probably going to get in the next couple of weeks here, or the next month or two, we're going to get a very significant move on XRP. And then we'll probably be leveled off for a bit. And then everyone will kind of readjust to XRP being at a much higher price. You don't see XRP doing anything this year? I don't know. To me, it looks like XRP is positioned really well. And also, I think there's a very high chance. I think there's a very high chance that this case ends in the very near future. I think there's a very good chance that the Ripple SEC case is ending sooner than later. So all right, we got a bit of a red candle coming in here. Let's hope that red candle finds support and we can actually use that to regain some momentum. So we got a bit of a red candle coming in. Let's hope we can bounce off the bottom of this range. Taylor, I think we're getting more ETF applications this year as well. I think we're going to get BlackRock soon here. The other thing that's been ripping is Doge. Doge has been ripping big, which is cool to see. Wow, Doge is up to 36 cents. That's incredible. This whole market is getting very, very excited And it's so nice to be back in this time period where there's excitement in this market. Yep, XRP is getting bid back up here. It looks like we can turn this into a green candle. I have my candle set to black. I like the way the price chart looks a little more, but this could be it. This could be it. Guys, make sure to smash the like button, retweet. We want as many people in here as possible. It's just going to increase the chance of someone getting in here who's wants to get involved with XRP. Aren't you a little annoyed about XRP? No, why would I be annoyed about XRP? See, some people think that some people get very emotional about price, and I understand, right? I understand that it can be hard to hold an asset, but look, this is what just investing is, right? Like in all reality, XRP has caused me very little annoyance in comparison to some of the other assets that I've bought that have gone down a lot since buying them, and you have to average your way in. Even though XRP hasn't made a large move to the upside that I wanted, and I think we're on track to get that in the very near future, there hasn't been a situation in which XRP is going down and me being forced to really average my way back in. So I don't know. It doesn't bother me really at all. It would bother me a lot more if I saw bad things happening on the fundamentals, Ripple failing to get adoption, if I saw issues in the XRP ledger community, but like none of those things really bother me, right? Like I've always kind of had the mindset that this market is going to take time to mature, and I believe when it matures, XRP is going to be one of the leaders. So we'll see if that thesis ends up being correct. We'll see if that ends up playing out like I think it's going to. I think there's a great chance it's going to, but yeah, waiting doesn't bother me. Like I've always expected that waiting was going to be part of this, and I've always known that Bitcoin goes first, XRP lags the market, and XRP moves after. Man, good to know, man. I'll be looking out for that. Yeah, there's just not a lot that really concerns me. There's really not a lot that concerns me. I know how these things work, right? I know how these things work. A lot of people, you saw the same exact thing in 2017. Let's pull over to 2017 real quick. Let's pull over to 2017 because I think this is going to give people some very good perspective on where we sit now. And so let's take a look at 2017 because I think this kind of stuff is important. It's really important to be able to superimpose yourself on times past and take a look at some of this stuff. So look at what XRP was doing back here. There was from 2013 to 2017, a 5-year period where XRP literally looked like it was descending to zero. You had XRP trading at 5 cents and then went all the way back to half a penny and was just sitting there for 5 years with nothing happening. And a lot of people looked at that as like, oh, shouldn't you be annoyed with XRP? Doesn't this bother you? But those were really only the people who were like just hyper focused on what the price was doing at that current moment. And a lot of people at this time were saying, okay, well, I'm not going to be an XRP anymore, right? I'm not going to be an XRP because I want to go into Bitcoin. And take a look at what Bitcoin was doing, right? All while they were freaking out about what XRP was doing, Bitcoin was making new all-time highs. And this is one of those things that can easily cause a lot of emotions because you see this asset not doing what you want it to do, all while other assets are doing what you thought the asset you thought was going to do, doing that in front of you. So that was a terrible sentence, but essentially XRP is being left by a lot of the things that people thought that Bitcoin's doing rather than XRP. So, but the problem is like this moment here is when a lot of people decided, hey, I'm going to get out of XRP and move into Bitcoin because they were saying, okay, well, XRP's not moving. XRP's dead. I need to move out of XRP and into Bitcoin. And then instantaneously, once people start making that move, what happens is XRP not only catches up, but actually massively outperforms Bitcoin. And it happens quickly. Like it goes from here, and in the matter of probably 100 days, boom, XRP is massively outperforming Bitcoin. So when people ask me, like, aren't I upset with the XRP price? It's like, no, because I'm not, like, my fundamental thesis is that the same thing is going to happen again, right? Like, I think we're going to see a very similar thing take place. And, I could be wrong on that. Like, maybe I'm wrong, right? And maybe that's part of the issue. Maybe my thesis there is incorrect. But until I'm proven wrong there, I just don't really have any worries, because I do think XRP is going to do a very similar thing there. So until that time passes, or until I'm proven wrong on that, there's just really nothing for me to really worry about here. And I know that's not necessarily something that's easy for everyone to put themselves into and to wrap their head around that. But it's just one of those things where that's always been part of my thesis. It's always how I thought this is going to work. And it just makes it so, even despite the fact, like, XRP right now could be trading at 25 cents, and I would be I'd be completely unaffected by what the price was at that point, except I'd probably be able to buy a lot more XRP, which would probably make me happy. So that's really where I think this is. That's really where I think this is. It doesn't. The price of XRP in the short term doesn't make me emotional. I think it's time to see. Like, I don't understand. Why would you want to hold Brad Garlinghouse accountable? Brad Garlinghouse is not the one controlling the price of XRP. He's just not. Give us a date of pump. See, Thomas, like, if you're expecting someone to give you a date for the pump, like, I'm sorry, that's like, you're gonna end up getting scammed, or you're gonna end up following someone or putting trust in someone who's just lying to you. If you go around looking for a fortune teller, right, you're gonna find a fortune teller who's just gonna tell you what you want to hear. Like, if you go around the streets and you start saying, I'll give someone $100 to give you my fortune, right? Like, that's great. You'll find someone who tells you what you want to hear, but it's not realistic. Like, you can come in here and ask me to say, hey, give me a date for XRP to skyrocket, but you shouldn't be asking those types of questions, because no one can tell you that answer. No one knows the answer to that. No one knows what the date would be. So don't put yourself in a position where you're asking for something that doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Thomas, there's a lot of people in this chat who are probably more than happy to give you a price prediction if they give you some money, but it's just not a good way to approach life. You shouldn't expect someone to be magic, or you shouldn't expect someone to be a fortune teller to see the future. No one can do that. So don't expect anyone to be able to defy the laws of physics or defy the laws of the world to give you what you want. Mr. Moon says Brad knows the date. Maybe Brad does know the date. If anyone was to know when XRP was going to pump, it'd probably be Brad or David. I'll tell you right now, it's not me. Give me $1,000 and I'll tell you tell you to buy when to buy XRP. Exactly. Look, you just got to look. There's a lot of great people who make content who give price predictions and all of that. I don't give price predictions. I don't really talk about that kind of stuff, just because, I think XRP is going to be much higher in the future. And other than that, I don't know what else you guys really want to hear from me. Taylor, can you send me that? I haven't seen that, and I would love to take a look. Taylor, shoot me that in the group message. Would love to take a look at that. Oh, this was also interesting. So this was also interesting. Let me cover this first, because Zach Rector got a nice little like from Brad Garlinghouse here on something very interesting. It looks like XRP. Oh, thank you so much, Fire Dog. Fire Dog says I know the dates. Oh, that's great. A crypto view. I just saw that from Metal Lawman too. This is a great tweet from I think it was Zach Rector. I think it was Zach Rector, but it looks like he actually got Brad Garlinghouse to like one of his posts. But this is a good one. This is a really good one. Take a look at this. So here we go. Brad Garlinghouse actually liked a tweet saying Ripple actually met with Trump. Charles is talking about it. Big difference. So Brad Garlinghouse fully confirms that Ripple has met with Trump. Brad Garlinghouse seems to think that's a big deal, and just throwing a little shade at Charles Hoskinson. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Charles Hoskinson was essentially saying, you should buy Cardano because I am going to be meeting with Trump in the future and advising on crypto. Brad Garlinghouse is saying, that's great, but we're already meeting with Trump. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And great to just see the confirmation that Ripple is going to be working with the Trump administration. Great to see that confirmation. Great to see that people are going to be getting along here. And great to see that Ripple is going to be leaning in to this new administration and looking to see how they can really benefit from it. Guys, make sure to smash the like button. Really appreciate everyone doing that. Brian, really appreciate you being in the chat and doing that. If you're on X, guys, a retweet goes a long way. The overall goals of these live streams are really to get some anti-XRP people in here, or not some XRP people, but some people who are on the fence, some people who don't know about XRP, and just try to educate them, right? Like let them know why we think XRP is so great and why we think XRP is going to be one of the future most important crypto assets. So the only way we can get those types of people in the chat is by you guys liking and sharing the stream. That's the easiest way to make sure we have a lot of new people coming in. And yeah, if we can do that and we can get more people to at least consider XRP, then I think we're going to be in a very good position to really get a lot more enthusiasm and a lot more holders in this asset. Doge has very little utility. Yeah, Doge doesn't have utility in the common sense, but you know, sometimes it's not all about utility, right? Here's the thing. If Doge is a meme coin, right? So no one is expecting it to have utility. So I don't think it makes sense to be saying like Doge doesn't have utility when it's not meant to have utility, right? Of course, Doge doesn't have utility. It's a meme coin. If you're a utility coin, you want to have utility. If you're a meme coin, then utility doesn't really matter. So I don't think it's necessarily a knock on Doge that doesn't have utility. Brian Armstrong is about to speak on CNBC. Oh, Taylor, you savior. Thank you. Let me pull that up ASAP. One minute. I was not prepared on CNBC this morning. Of course, I was like, oh, there's nothing going to be interesting happening on CNBC. We'll have it up in 2 seconds here. Oh, actually, I really should be doing it on here. What's the latest news with FTX and all that debacle? I don't know if there's really has been any interesting news with FTX. I know there's some interesting things going on with Solana and how that gets paid out, but I don't know. I haven't heard anything overly interesting on the FTX front in a while. Oh, I've got a minute. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for hitting the like button. They just went to commercial. Perfect, Taylor. Then I will get this off. Thank God for Taylor. Thank God for Taylor. Dogecoin max supply is unlimited. Absolutely. But once again, that hasn't always been something that is overly significant for the short term. Look, I think Doge is going to be much higher in the future than it is today. I don't know how to tell people that. Some people really don't like Doge. For me, if Elon Musk is pumping Doge is probably going to go up a lot more in the future. So just remember that, guys. You never really want to bet against Elon Musk. And I think Elon Musk is going to be a big factor in making Doge be a lot higher. I know some people don't like that, but the way it is. Okay. Nice. All right. Got CNBC up. We'll be able to pivot to this as soon as Brian Armstrong comes in and take a look at what Brian Armstrong has to say. Doge is like the girl you date, but not long enough to meet your parents. That's funny. Wait until the XRP and XLM pumps. Okay. Yeah, I got it on here. I think mine's just lagging by a couple seconds, so we'll have Brian Armstrong as soon as he pops on.
Now for our second big crypto interview of the hour, is Bitcoin now sitting above $85,000. We are joined by Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong. Shares of his company have rallied more than 60% since last week's election. This morning, he's announcing the launch of Coinbase 50 Index, which represents the top 50 digital assets listed on the Coinbase exchange. Good morning to you, Brian. It's great to have you in the broadcast. There's about 100 things I want to ask you, but let's just start with what's happening in crypto post this election. And maybe it's the same question I asked of Vlad earlier. As you sort of look out on the horizon now, given President-elect Trump and his administration and his ambitions and plans, what is it that you see happening exactly?
Yeah, well, good to see you, Andrew. I mean, one of the most exciting things about this new Congress, which is the most pro-crypto Congress ever, is that I think we finally have a chance to get some regulatory clarity in the U.S. about some of these big open issues that, frankly, under Gary Gensler, we just haven't gotten any clarity for a long time. So which of these assets are commodities, which of them are securities? That requires the SEC and the CFTC to come together and collaborate on rulemaking, or to have Congress really step in and pass new legislation. So there's an opportunity to do that. The FIT 21 bill, which passed with strong bipartisan support in the House earlier this year, it's now making its way through the Senate, and with any luck, we'll get that passed through the Senate and make it to the president's desk here, either in the lame duck or early in the Trump administration.
Wow,
Brian, we've obviously seen
great.
Bitcoin move materially, obviously, in the past week, really, even more so, even before that, given sort of the run up and maybe expectation that President Trump was going to win this election. When you think, though, about the other currencies, I mean, they're the ones I would imagine at this point that have the bigger room to move, or no?
Well, I think Bitcoin will be the most important crypto asset for a long time. It's got a lot of runway to move as well. But what's exciting about this Coin 50 index that we launched is that people are increasingly becoming aware that it's not just about Bitcoin. There are dozens, hundreds of different assets in crypto that are now, they've met our listing standards, they've made it onto our exchange. And actually, there's thousands of these being created every day, believe it or not. And so some of these they're coins like Ton and
XRP
which are being used in emerging markets. There's things like in the DeFi space, like Uniswap, that people want exposure to, or the things that are layer 2 solutions are being built on top of, like Optimism. And I think we're eventually going to get to a world where there's millions of these tokens. Every project, every individual, every meme on the internet is going to have one of these. And of course, every company, when they want to raise money, as we get regulatory clarity around securities, and have a clear path for that, they should be issuing these coins as well. And so increasingly, people are going to want broad market exposure to crypto. It's going to be the next version of the stock market, but it's also the next version of the internet. And so that's why it's so important for us to have launched this canonical market index, Coin 50, for people who want exposure to the broad market of crypto, not just one asset.
And you're now talking about some of these tokens being used for example, IPOs, something that was sort of taken off the table during even the Jay Clayton era when people started to think about using them that way. I mean, that would upend so much of the financial industry, no?
Well, I think it's important that crypto is really just a technology to update the financial system writ large. And one of the areas in the financial system that could be improved dramatically, I think, is capital formation. There's lots of different people. They're trying to build an apartment complex. They're trying to start their next tech startup. They want to raise money from investors. And today there's instances where people are trying to raise money for their real estate project, whatever, and they're paying 11% in financing fees to various organizations to package that together. And so that's just one more area on a long list that crypto could update the financial system. Now, those are going to be securities, right? So we need to have a clear path for people to register crypto securities. There's disclosures to figure out. There's, how do you make sure that these are accredited investors when they need that? And so we, along with the rest of the crypto industry, are working on ways to do that. For the last 4 years, we've been, really the door's just been shut in our face. Any kind of productive conversation about how to make that happen in a trusted and compliant way, they've just been totally unwilling to engage in that conversation. And so it's really the dawn of a new crypto era with this election that just happened, because it's the most pro-crypto Congress ever. We had 268 pro-crypto candidates elected to the House. All 9 new senators that got elected had either an A or a B rating on standwithcrypto.org. And of course, in the White House with President Trump, there's a full-throated endorsement of crypto. And so we couldn't be in a better position to finally get some clarity and start to rebuild the crypto industry in America again.
Brian, I'm curious about what you think of this. There is a perception, I think probably real, that the crypto industry had a huge influence on this election, not just the presidential election, but elections around the country when it comes to Congress and the like. There was huge amounts of money that was spent by members of the crypto community, including yourself. And there's a question about money in politics and whether that influence is a good thing. How do you think about it?
Yeah, so I think there's no question there was a lot of money involved from the crypto industry, and there was also a lot of voters who came together in a grassroots movement. So, we don't set the rules of the game, but that's how the game is played in the United States. And I think it was important for us to show up, defend our customers' rights. But they also showed up as a huge voting bloc. And it's important for the crypto industry to have gotten organized. We helped this by funding groups like standwithcrypto.org, which got to almost 2 million advocates in the United States who raised their hand and said they wanted to elect pro-crypto candidates. We're going to continue to support them after the election. They've taken a stretch goal and said they want to get to 4 million advocates in the U.S. by the 2026 midterms. Even Fairshake, the super PAC that we donated to, they've raised an additional almost 50 million of capital right just since the election, looking forward to the midterms. So, I think it's really important we keep showing up as a crypto industry on these policy issues. It's important for the future of America. And look, in my personal judgment, I would prefer that the government was smaller and there was less ability for people to go in there and influence it. But because we have this big government and that's how the rules have been set, both money and the grassroots movement of voters coming together are super important.
What do you think about Donald Trump's World Liberty Financial crypto project?
I haven't looked into it too deeply, to be honest. I'm glad everybody's interested in crypto. That's great, but I don't have too much to say on that particular one, having not looked at it.
We're going to have to run, but I got to ask, Elon Musk saying that he thinks the Fed needs to maybe come under Trump or the White House or have less independence. Do you agree or disagree?
I don't have too strong an opinion on that, but I will say that there's a massive issue in the United States with the deficit, with inflation. And I do think that Bitcoin is a check and balance on irresponsible deficit spending. And to really extend the American experiment for a couple hundred more years, it's important that we don't devalue the dollar, lose the reserve currency status, and that's a big reason why people are buying Bitcoin now.
Brian Armstrong, great to see you. Really appreciate you joining us this morning.
Great to see you.
Bit. Squawk coming right.
Cool. Yeah, I thought it was a pretty solid interview. Nothing I think overly interesting there, but still glad we tuned in to take a look. Taylor, I want to take a look at that AI thing you mentioned earlier. Did you get a chance to send that over? I know I kind of got distracted here. Yeah, Taylor, did you get a chance to send that over? I'm not seeing that yet. Some AI thing revolving XRP. Just Google XRP Bank of America. Okay, cool. All right, we'll do it live. Oh, interesting. So, okay, so this is what Taylor's talking about. When you Google Bank of America XRP, it says Bank of America has a positive view of Ripple's work, and Ripple has partnered with many financial institutions, including Bank of America, to increase adoption of its cryptocurrency XRP. Very interesting. I will say that one of the things that, and the reasons why things like that happen, are because AI will pick up on a lot of the things that people search and that people say on the internet. So I don't know if AI necessarily knows something or is more just looking to is there something else there? You can click through the patent. I don't see a patent here. Am I missing something? So I got this pulled up, but I don't see any patent. I just see the AI overview. An aggregator? Huh. I'm not sure I see this AI overview, but I'm not sure I see anything else. Let me know. I'll do another check on that if I'm missing something there. I'm sure I am. Oh, gave you a patent to click on? Interesting. I wonder if that was removed. Huh. I don't have any patent to click on or anything like that. But that's interesting that's not showing up for me. Oh, you'll DM? Okay, perfect. Yeah, let me check that out. Give you a patent. Very interesting. So this is what happened
post-election rally.
Oh. 1 second. I've got for some reason, CNBC audio wants to keep going. So this is the patent that it pulled up for Taylor. Refunded Ripple settlement. What currency is SGD? What currency is SGD? Oh, Singapore. Interesting. I mean, it pans out, especially with the Singapore part. Singapore, it looks like Singapore to US dollar, and it pulled up the Bank of America. We don't know. We don't know if this is a Bank of America patent, I guess, but Very interesting. Bandman said, Mick, please answer this. If Japan has to go live with XRP by January 2025, won't the XRP price be a lot higher? I don't know if there's anything to say that Japan has to do anything, right? Japan doesn't have to go live with XRP. Will Japan go live with XRP? I have no idea. It seems like there's a lot of banks in Japan heavily interested in XRP. And I think if that happens, XRP will be a lot higher. But I don't think there's anything in place to say that it has to be. Okay. Oh, you pulled the actual patent. So 2018 was when this was filed. So it's abandoned at the current moment. Very interesting, though. Yeah, I mean, this is very interesting. So I'm always skeptical on patents. Not that I'm skeptical on this patent. I think it's very interesting that AI pulled it up. But one of the things I think that people sometimes often do is get overly into patents. Like, I don't think patents are kind of a... I think there's many times patents are interesting and there's many times patents aren't interesting. Let's put it that way. So I'm just hesitant to put too much into the patent just because it says it's abandoned. What's a rumor? What's a rumor? Oh, the 2020 XRP 2025? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. There are so many things that like some people like, I don't know. Is CPI tomorrow? It seems like we just got CPI. It seems like we just got CPI. Do we have another CPI I'm reading tomorrow? Was it that? Definitely interesting. Definitely super interesting. November 13th, and today's the 12th, right? Or say the 11th. Yeah, today's 12th. Interesting. Yeah, CPI is tomorrow. Good call out, Taylor. We'll have to be on it for that. I think CPI is definitely still important, but like so much less important than it was a little bit ago. Now it seems like by far the most important thing is cryptocurrency legislation. Like CPI was important when there was nothing else going on in crypto, but now with what's happening to the industry, I think it's actually going to become relatively insignificant. Obviously, we want CPI to look good, but CPI already looks good, right? Like, I'm just no longer that worried about it outside of something crazy happening. But if we take a look at inflation, there's no doubt bad numbers could send some shockwaves through the market. But if we take a look at inflation, why are you going to make me... We can see that... 1 minute. Here we go. We can see that inflation is well within our target range. So I just don't think this is going to continue to be something that we are watching on a level of massive importance. So long as we stay in this range, I think their CPI is going to fade into something that's not that important anymore, which is a good thing. I really do think that's a good thing to kind of stop focusing on things like CPI and be able to focus a lot more on things that I believe are going to be a lot more significant. Erie sometimes fast on calling fake. Yeah, Eddie's been, I don't know why I always say Erie. It's Eddie. I just always read it wrong. Eddie's been extremely accurate though. She has been extremely accurate. So, I am not really looking to go against what she says. She is normally spot on. She says there's a rumor. I don't know. She's very in tune with the Japanese market. I would expect her to have a very good idea of what's going on there. Yeah, Jake's been killing it with his lives. Definitely. 2,400 people watching. It's amazing how much excitement a little XRP pump will bring to this ecosystem. Great to see everyone and love having a lot of people in the chat, man. I think there's really exciting times ahead, and this is just the start. Crypto, Tesla, banks all pumping hardest after Trump win. It seems like the market thinks, yeah, well, Kathy Wood did a very, very good clip about kind of the future of Trump's policies and how they're going to make such a big difference. I actually meant to play that today. I wanted to watch it with you guys, but a little... You know what? We probably could squeeze that in here. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. This is one of the things for me that really drives the way I look at what's happening in the world. So take a look at this. This is
landscape great. After the election. And I wanted to talk a little bit about deja vu for me. I started my career really in the early 80s. And at the time, we had the Reagan administration and a lot of controversy about everything, much of which we're hearing today, the same kinds of controversy. So I wanted to take you a little bit through the macros, what the Trump administration says it wants versus what might likely happen given that backdrop, as well as how this clarity is going to impact the world of innovation, the world of transformative innovation. And we believe the world is transforming and in miraculous ways. So we want to take you through some of that and how this administration, its policies are probably going to accelerate these changes. So let's talk about macros first. In the early days of the Reagan administration, there were back-to-back recessions and interest rates hit 15%. And that was a very difficult environment for investing. Well, President Trump is coming into office when that part of the equivalent in the Reagan administration has been done. And I remember after that, the 80s and 90s were the golden age of active equity investing. And I think we're going back there. First of all, in terms of the controversy, a deficit back then, after back-to-back recessions, 5.5%. The bond market was apoplectic about that. Investors were as well. And what they didn't understand is that the Reagan policies of tax cuts, along with lower interest rates caused by Volcker, moving from double-digit interest rates to something much lower, that those were going to be very positive for economic growth, and that we were going to grow our way out of the deficit. That growth out of the deficit started in the 80s with the Reagan administration and finished in the 90s with the Clinton administration, taking us into a surplus. We think we're going to experience somewhat of the same thing this time around. The tax cuts, we believe, are critically important, especially if Trump makes good on his tariff promise. Now, I'm not a big fan of tariffs myself, but if we're going to pair tariffs not on our free trade partners, but on those countries that really are not giving American goods and services a level playing field, but we counter them at home with lower tax rates for consumers and businesses, that's a trade-off. That's a good trade-off. And so I don't think the criticism about tariffs is going to play out in terms of 100% across the board. That's not what we're talking about here. I think President Trump is very pro-growth, and he's not going to do anything to impede growth in that way. He wants the dollar down. He thinks that will make us more competitive. What I think will happen is the returns on invested capital in the United States relative to those elsewhere in the world, they're going to increase, and that is going to attract more capital, which will actually boost the dollar. Now, in terms of interest rates, the dollar going up is anti-inflationary, as is the productivity growth associated with a burst in activity caused by lower tax rates and other incentives for investing. So if inflation is going to surprise on the low side of expectations, that's going to be very good for innovation-driven strategies. What happened during the last 4 years, actually, is the burst of inflation caused by many things, but COVID, supply chain, money growth exploding. Even though the Fed has gotten all of that under control, I think a lot of investors have had trouble believing that it would stay under control. The way inflation will stay under control is productivity growth, and we're already seeing strong productivity growth thanks to artificial intelligence and other new technologies, as well as actually the dollar firming. Most commodity prices are priced in dollars. Most commodities are priced in dollars, I should say. And the dollar going up means downward pressure on commodity prices. That's a very good thing as well. So what will happen to interest rates here? Now, this is a little different from the 80s. Interest rates were so high at the beginning of the 80s, 15%, that really, if the Reagan administration got anything right, those interest rates would come down. And they certainly have. Now, 45 years later, they are high relative to recent history, 5% on the Fed funds rate. And they are restrictive relative to where we see inflation going. So we do believe there will be a downward pressure on interest rates, maybe even more than many investors expect in the near term, because I think a lot of activity is going to be held back by, a desire to understand how policies are going to change in the future. If we believe tax rates are going to come down, we're probably going to wait if we're businesses and consumers. This is classic. It even happened during the Reagan administration when he phased in tax cuts over 3 years. Most people just waited until the tax rates were at the point he had promised. So we probably will see some holding back of activity in the next year in anticipation of even lower tax rates. So I think interest rates will be biased to the downside. Thereafter, I think we're going to see an explosion in productivity growth. That's what the convergence among the major innovation platforms around which we've centered our research. So robotics, energy storage, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, and multi-omic sequencing in the healthcare space. Those platforms are converging and we believe are going to unlock explosive productivity growth, explosive GDP growth, and much lower than expected inflation because all of these platforms are deflationary.
So I thought that was a pretty interesting clip, mostly on one real front. And that's just this idea that what we're heading into is really an explosion in innovation with low inflation. We've been stuck in this regulatory mess in which essentially regulators were holding back innovation. We had the COVID thing. It jacked up the money supply. We had all this inflation, but we've really been able to navigate a lot of those things pretty well. And what we could be heading into is actually almost the exact opposite, a time period in which inflation is actually really low because innovation takes off. And we're really sitting in a world where, I mean, think of what happens if you can move money all over the world instantaneously without having to pay a credit card fee or a transaction fee on every single transaction. I mean, it drastically increases the velocity of money. It makes it so money moves faster. It makes it so there's less fees. It makes it so money can be reinvested and deployed quicker. All of these things are taking place right now. And essentially the only reason they haven't already taken place is because of essentially regulators holding back the industry. But I think what Cathie Wood is saying here is by deregulation and allowing these innovations to actually prosper, we're likely going to reach a place where actually the GDP is growing exponentially faster without actually creating an increase in inflation. Because think about it, if you can actually make credit card transactions cheaper, if you can move money cross borders cheaper, then it makes everything associated with those transactions cheaper as well. So you get more spending, you get people moving money quicker, but at the same time, your technology is actually making a lot of these functions of moving money cheaper. So I thought it was a really interesting clip just talking about how beneficial a lot of these new Trump policies could be. And I thought it was a great little recap on exactly where the world is going. I think the dollar going higher is very interesting as well. And how Trump could actually have a reverse effect on the dollar that makes it go up. So that's kind of counter to a lot of the things I thought were going to happen with rates coming down. And that's going to be very interesting to watch to see if Trump could actually be a wild card in bringing a lot more value back to the dollar rather than what we've seen in the Biden administration, where essentially money has been flowing or purchasing power has been leaving the dollar. Hyperdeflation is very scary. Yeah, we'll have to see how that ends up. Guys, I got to run. Thank you